So first, thanks very much to Max and Sales Hacker for putting on a really amazing conference. I'm very honored and excited to be here. Really excited to be on stage sharing this stage with lots of really talented people. A couple of them that I'll mention are the next two speakers that were really mentors of mine. Coming up next is Brendan Cassidy, who is the VP of Sales while I worked at EchoSign. So a lot of what you'll see contained in my deck today are things that I actually learned from Brendan. Following Brendan's a guy named Jason Limkin, who was my CEO at EchoSign. And without Jason, I would have never been introduced to Parker, who's my current CEO. And so I actually wouldn't be standing here today in front of you as Zenefits VP of Sales. So I'm very excited for next couple speakers as well. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the growth that we've experienced as an organization and some of the lessons that we've learned along the way. As Max mentioned, I'm VP of Sales at Zenefits. I joined very early when we were about 18 employees, and that was just in November. We've scaled all the way up to about 400 today. So before we get started, just quick agenda for what we'll be talking about. I'll just do a quick sort of overview of the company and the growth that we've experienced this year. We'll talk a little bit about some of the things that I've learned a lot about as we've scaled this company, and those are recruiting, quotas and compensation, controlling cycle times, specialization in sales development. We'll talk about training, org structure, and when to promote people. And then if there's some time, I'll leave it open for some Q&A. And so just a little bit of background about the company. Our CEO is a guy named Parker, and he had founded a company called SigFig prior to founding Zenefits. And while he was scaling that organization, he found himself dealing with a lot of these sort of HR administrative paperwork activities that were very sort of low level and not concentrating on scaling the business. And some examples would be when he would hire folks, they would onboard in W-4s and I-9s and get signed up for health insurance and enroll in the 401k and be entered into the payroll system. And he'd be sitting there doing this stuff on paper as a founder of a company. He was thinking to himself, there has to be a better way to do this. And so through that, he really decided to come up with some technology better than what he was currently doing. And so he left the company that he founded and came up with our technology. And so what Zenefits does is we integrate all of these traditionally separate HR systems, and those include things like payroll, health insurance, 401k, employee onboarding, so things like W-4s, I-9s, offer letters, employee handbooks. All of those things get signed directly in our system. We have things like commuter benefits, stock options administration, time and attendance. And so instead of logging into all of these different systems to manage the people within the organization, we become your hub, and we impact all of these different systems without you ever having to log in. And so this is a sort of business or a technology that can impact basically any company in the United States. And so right now, we have about 3,000 customers, and we look at our potential customer market of about 4 million companies that we could sell into. And so the technology itself is really creative and can have a really large impact. But I think more than the technology itself is the business model that speaks to our success. And so rather than licensing our software like a traditional SaaS product, we actually leverage the broker model. And so we make our money on health insurance commissions. And so rather than selling our product like Salesforce or EchoSign or DocuSign or any of the other companies that are out there today, we give our product to our clients for free. And so from a client's perspective, absolutely nothing changes. They keep the exact same health insurance. They keep the exact same pricing for that health insurance. They keep the exact same medical cards that their employees have. They just make us their health insurance broker, and they get access to the technology that I just described for free. And so on a lot of the sales calls that we're on, it's really a sales dream. We're hearing people saying things like, well, this has to be too good to be true. Explain your business model to me one more time. And then they sort of finally get it, and then they say, well, why isn't every company in the United States doing this? And that's sort of the goal that we're getting towards as we continue to scale the company. So a little bit about the growth that we've experienced over the past year. A story that I like to tell. I joined this company in December of 2013. And I remember I started on a Tuesday, but I came into the office the day before on a Monday, and I walked in around lunchtime, and there were 3 engineers sitting at the bar, and they were in their T-shirts, and they had headphones on, and they were writing code. And I looked over into the corner, and there was one of our 2 sales reps sitting on her cell phone on a beanbag chair. And forgive my language, but it was this like shitty little office in the Mission. And I remember walking in and just thinking to myself, like, it just hit me. I mean, I just joined, like, the epitome of a startup. This is stuff that you would, like, see in the movies. And you sort of fast forward